Hello everyone, this is Dr. Milind Gajvi from Department of Microbiology of TC College. I hope you all are fit and fine in this corona pandemic situation. Today I'll be speaking on the topic of how to write the research paper. I have selected this topic basically due to the reason of having research background, having experience approximately of 15 to 16 years. At the same time, I have participated in several national and international conferences. To mention few, I have presented research papers in international conference at Valencia, Spain, and Male, Maldives. So I have learned all this through experience, which I am gonna share with you through this lecture on how to write a research paper. Today I'm gonna tell you what are the different steps in writing a research paper, what are the different preparations which are required for writing a research paper, what are the protocols for submission of paper, what is the procedure after regarding the submission process and its publication, what time period is required for this particular process. I know that this is a group of science students, particularly from computer science B group and A group. So, being a biologist, I may be little biased, but I will try not to be. Writing a research paper brings several skills in you uh, that is definitely going to contribute to improve your personality. Publications are very important in relation to securing a job particularly after completion of post graduation. When you appear for any job interview, you will be asked for two things. One is your thesis report, and another one is publication. Definitely, the first option will be there with you, but if you have any publication of good quality, then it will definitely attract the attention of interviewers, and that will be a plus point. Writing a research paper and its publication is a very long process. Perhaps it needs patience. It may require several weeks, several months, or a couple of years. Understanding writing skills regarding research paper preparation is definitely going to help you in writing your final project proposal or writing your thesis. Since several years, I have been checking the project reports of the students, and I have found that there is a common thing that they just copy the material from somewhere else and paste it in. That means they are using the data of other publishers. So that is at all not a good practice, copying of data, which is illegal thing. So that is a part of plagiarism, and definitely plagiarism is you are stealing. It is a stealing of data from somewhere others work. So plagiarism is also very important in writing this research paper. However, someone else is of course going to speak on this particular topic. So for the time being, let us start with the first slide on how to write a research paper. So in this video lecture, we'll be talking about writing of research paper. Till now, you must have understood regarding what is research, and you see there are several definitions of research which are given in literature. A simple definition is a search for knowledge, then a scientific and systematic search for pertinent information on a specific topic. Research is an art of scientific investigation, and there are so many different types of definitions you will find in literature. uh, Roughly, it is a movement from the known to unknown. This is one of the very nice definitions. It is actually a voyage of discovery and inventions for the full understanding of the unknown. Thus, in short, we can say that research, it is an original contribution to the existing stock of knowledge, making for its advancement. In short, the search for knowledge through objectives, systematic methods of finding solution to particular problem. It can be called as research. Uh, there are different components of research. Someone else might have talked on this, but in order to just to be in the link, I need to summarize that. So research comprises of several components. First one is defining and redefining the problems, means the identification of the problem on which we are going to work on. Then formulating hypotheses or suggested solutions. So considering that the nature of the problem, you are formulating a theory, you are formulating a solution, we call it as hypothesis. It may be positive hypothesis, or it may be negative, or it may be a null hypothesis. I think your lectures on statistics are over, so you must have been understanding what is the meaning of hypothesis. Then the third component is collecting, organizing, and evaluating the data. Fourth one is making inferences and reaching conclusions. So whatever the work, investigation, examination, survey that we carry out in relation to that particular problem, then finally we come to a conclusion or inference. And at last, carefully testing the conclusion to determine whether they fit the formulating the hypothesis. So these are the five major components of research. And there are several types of research, basically descriptive and analytical research, applied and fundamental research. So of course you must have understood through a series of lectures what are these different categories of research. So I'm not going to talk in detail regarding all these different types of research. Just briefly, for science students, this research is very important. That is the third type, quantitative and qualitative research. Basically, quantitative research is numerical information. So whatever the problem that we hypothesize, or whatever the problem on which we are working on, so we collect the data in a numerical form, and that numerical data will be useful for reaching an inference or any conclusion. So quantitative research is based on measurement of quality or amount. It is acceptable to phenomena that can be expressed in terms of quantity, whereas qualitative research is a qualitative phenomena relating to or involving quality or kind. So this is basically called as non-numerical information. So basically science students, they work on this type of research. Another one is conceptual and empirical research. Then there are other categories of research also. So I think I should not go into the details, considering the major objective of this presentation. So the question arises, why we do research? So the answer is very simple. Research leads to discoveries and inventions. So being science students, you need to understand the difference between discoveries and inventions. So whatever the discoveries that we make, whatever the invention that we do, we perform, so all these discoveries and inventions needs publication, so that the other people in the world, we call them as readers, they should know about your contribution to this scientific field. So first you must understand the difference between discoveries and inventions. Discoveries are those that means mm, the things which are basically existing in nature. Okay, so for example, a piece of land which is existing in nature, and someone is going to disclose that there is a piece of land. So you remember the example of Vasco da Gama. So it is a type of discovery in which he discovered a piece of land. Then discoveries in categories of discovery, for example, for botany students, this example is good, that uh, uh, that there is a particular plant species which is habitating in a particular location, but till now nobody knows about that. So if you are going there, and if you are able to find that particular species which is existing there, we are disclosing that particular information, then that will be a type of discovery. Likewise, for zoology students, you are finding some species of insects, butterflies which are already existing in nature, and you are disclosing it in the form of publication. So that is a discovery. For microbiology students, finding out a particular species of bacterium or a virus. So viruses, bacteria, protozoa, fungi, algae, they're existing in nature, and you are going to discover, you're just finding out what is that particular species is. So that is discovery. Basically, this may not be this may not the students of I think mathematics, statistics, computer science may not come across the discoveries. So for them, uh, another type of research in which mainly they work on are the inventions. Invention means construction of something new. So this is the part which is basically related to all the science fields, including microbiology, botany, zoology, then computer science, physics, chemistry, then mathematics, statistics. So you are you are putting a new theory, you are putting a new concept, you are designing a circuit. For physics students, you are designing a particular formula, chemical formula. You are preparing a particular chemical through a specific pathway. uh, you are genetically modifying the microorganism, you are genetically modifying a plant or animal species. So all these will come under inventions. This part you must have studied earlier regarding the selection of research topics. So being MSc Part 2 students, you will have to complete a project work. That means that is a part of research, and for that you need to select a particular research topic. While selecting a particular research topic, it is generally a very tedious process, but you can make it simple. So if you are aware of current research, uh, whatever the current research which is going on, it may be applied research or it may be a basic research. So you may come to know regarding the current research areas if you are familiar, if you are reading newspapers, magazines, books, or book chapters. And the most important part or the component through which you come to know about the research topics are the journals. Journal is a collection of research papers. So what the scientists, the scientific community, they are working on particular area, and they are publishing their work in the form of research papers and original research publications, reviews, correspondence, etc. etc. So, regarding those current affairs or current research, you may come to know uh, through journals. So, journal reading is very important. That means this is a part of referencing, and of course, someone else is going to speak on referencing, but still, I have included 2 3 points regarding referencing in this presentation as well. So selection of a research topic from these two particular components, discoveries or inventions. So while selecting a particular topic, it should have some particular characteristics. Say for example, that particular research has to be a novel. That means it should be new. That means you are adding something new to the scientific community, or you are adding some scientific information, uh, additional or advanced scientific information. So it may be related to new types of plants, animal species, microorganisms, different types of products. You are constructing a specific method, different approaches, different ideas. So that will come under novelty. So you should think on this, that while selecting a particular research topic, uh, you should have some novelty or newness in that particular topic, so that it becomes easier for its publication. So for publication, this part is very important. If you want to publish your data, uh, and if you want to know, if you want that the people should know about your invention or discovery, that invention or discovery, it should be novel, then the publication, it becomes very easy. Then your data generation, potential of data generation has to be there, and that is reflected through the tables, figures, images, and photographs. So as I mentioned, your research may belong to applied or a basic science, which is ready for the publication. So you should work accordingly in depth, so that that data should have potential to be published in reputed journals. Now the question is, what is basically a research paper? You understand what is the meaning of a paper. So uh, something written on a particular page, we call it as paper. So whatever the information which is written on page, we call it as paper. So we add a word to that, that is research. So presentation of data obtained through experimentation or surveys in a concise manner for its possible publication. So we call it as research paper. So whatever is the output of your project work, whatever is the output of your investigation, so you have to compile that data, and that data you put it on paper, so that becomes a research paper which is ready for the publication. Then the question arises, why publications? So since several years I have been examining the vivavos of MSc Part 2 students, where they present their project work, and then finally they prepare a project report. And the preparation of and submission of that project report, it is compulsory, it is mandatory as a part of getting availing as a part of getting MSc degree. So what happens that what we think is that preparation of that particular, or the compilation of data in the form of project report or thesis and its submission, it is sufficient enough. But no, if your data is of good quality, then you must go for publication. Otherwise, what will happen, that whatever the efforts which you have taken for 2 years, and then you whatever the data that you have generated throughout your efforts of 2 years, that data will go into a thesis, that data will go into a project report, and it will be evaluated only once, and that is at the time of project viva. So only there will be a restricted group of people who will come to know about your investigation. What about the others? What about the other scientific community? So unless and until you go for publication, the scientific community is never going to know about your work, or what scientific work investigation which you have carried out. So publication is essential for the information of readers. Readers means those who are working in that particular area, the scientific community. So it is highly essential to disclose your findings, the report your findings, your investigation results and conclusions, so that your research uh, may support the research of others, or your research may be a basis to start an investigation by the others. So this is disclosing your research is very important, because basically you are making it available for the others to use. Apart from that, you are adding knowledge in a particular area of research, that is very important, and people should know about all these findings. for the betterment of the research area or the science. Then there are different types of research publications in journals. So after understanding what is the importance of research, what is a research paper, why it is essential to publish that particular research, let us go into the technical things now. Let us understand what are the different research publications in journals. So already I have defined what is the meaning of journal. So the publication that you can make in journals are as follows. It may be a full-length research paper. Sometimes it is also called as original research paper, which is a descriptive thing. Then if you shorten that, if your data is limited, you can go for publication of in terms of short communication. As the name indicates, it is a short communication, means the data is limited, and as it is mentioned above, full length, that means you can describe whatever the investigation that you have performed. You can give full description of that particular investigation in original research paper. Then there is a research publication which is called as review. I'll be telling you regarding each and every component, explaining all these components in separate slides. Then another one is correspondence, news and views, notes, or we can call it as research notes, meeting reports, research news, opinion articles, and commentaries. So these are the different types of research publications which can be published in journals. But from your point of view, I think first three things first three things are important. That is understanding how to prepare a full-length research paper, short communication, and how to write a review. There is a sixth one, that is notes or research notes. So it is also equally important. So full length research paper, short communication, review, and research notes are important in the relation to in your point of view. Then what is a full length research paper? So as I mentioned, that it is a descriptive thing. So you describe all your introduction, your hypothesis, your materials and methods, then your results and conclusions. So all your investigation, examination report you can publish in this full length research paper. So there is a word limit, of course. It is dependent on the journal. I'll be telling you regarding the journal guidelines later on. So there are thousands of journals available for publication of your research work, but all the journals, they may or may not have the same type of instructions for the authors. That means the length of the research paper, it may be from 3500 to 6000 words. So it may differ according to the type of journal that we'll see later on. So full length research paper, it describes the uh, findings, new and confirmed findings, and experimental procedures. And in general, it consists of, I'm saying that it is general because journal to journal these instructions may differ. So it comprises of an abstract, then keywords, which may be from 5 to 6 keywords. I'll be explaining in detail what are the meanings of all these. Then there will be there is an introduction section, precisely written introduction section to introduce the subject and the problem, to define the problem, along with the citation of relevant literature. So in next few slides I'll be telling you regarding what is the meaning of citation of relevant literature. Then the next component is materials and methods, followed by that results and discussion, acknowledgements, and references. So these are the major components that makes a full-length research paper. So uh, this understanding the concept of full-length paper is basically very useful for you all to write the your final project report or thesis. So your final thesis also is made up with these components. So this information will be definitely beneficial for all of you in order to make your final project report. So I'm not going to talk separately on how to write project reports. So I'll be explaining all that through uh, this concept of writing a full length research paper. Then another type of publication that you can make in journals is a short communication. So in contrast to the above one, the word limit is there, and that is approximately 1200 to 1500 words. That means you have to describe your investigation, report, conclusions, and everything in a concise manner. So that means a short communication is a record of completed short investigation, giving details of new methods or findings. So it is at all not necessary that you should have a very huge data. If you have a very huge data, but if it doesn't have any novelty, then it is useless. So for example, if you have a limited data, limited number of figures, limited number of graphs, limited number of tables, but you have carried out that particular investigation very carefully and very keenly, so that whatever the data that you have generated is limited one, but it is precise one, and most important, that data is new, or there is something novel component which is existing in that particular data, then still you have a potential, or that data have a potential of publication. You may go for short communication. Then this short communication, it consists of abstract keywords, uh, then materials and methods, results and discussions are written in a continuous manner. So likewise, for example, in writing a full-length research paper, I have written ABCD. There are several components, but here in short communication, there are no separate sections like above. So it is written in a continuous manner so as to save the space, because the word limit, as I said, it is 1200 to 1500. Then next type of research publication is a review. Generally, full-length research paper you can write after your investigation is complete. Short communication you can write after your investigation is complete. However, writing a review, it is a matter of it should be written by someone who has got experience, who has got expertise, developed expertise through several years. He or she is having several years of experience in that particular field. uh, he has understood the details, he has understood the keenness, the fine things in that particular research. So that person has the full authority to write a review. That means say for example, if you decide to write a review, it should be written under the guidance of your guide, because your guide is having a vast experience of several years and he has a full right to write a particular review, and you may be the co-authors in that particular review. So review is a big thing. uh, it has a word limit of approximately 5000 to 7000 words. Let me repeat here again that these instructions will change according to journal. Okay, so a review is written in a comprehensive manner. It is up to date and critical on a recent topic. of important. This word is very important, up to date and critical. Uh, it should cite latest references and identify the gaps for future research. In short, this review is a compilation of the data or the research work that has been carried out in a particular period of time. That means you select a particular research area. Say for example, as I was working on lactic acid bacteria, so while writing a review, I will collect the references, I will go into the literature, and I will find the references or the research work which has been carried out so far on lactic acid bacteria. Say for example, lactic acid bacteria, you are familiar with that because we all are eating curd, so they are basically useful in the making of curd. So for example, if I want to write a review, I will select a particular period, that is from 2000, year 2000 to year 2020. I may select that particular era, basically we can say, and I will try to find out all the publications, literatures, all the scientific work which has been published, which has been carried out by particular researchers, and I will compile that particular data so that you did not to search for individual publications. So what I will do, right from 2000, year 2000 to 2020, I will collect all the information related to curd making process by lactic acid bacteria, and I will publish it as a review. So it is a very nice thing that under in a single article you will get all the references related to making of curd, right? 20 years record you will get in a single article. So that is very interesting thing to write a review. And review consists of abstract keywords. Then there are, of course, there will be several sections depending on the particular topic of investigation which has been carried out. There will be acknowledgement and references. So in the end, I'll be explaining you regarding, I will show you the structure of review also. Review writing will be very useful. Understanding review writing will be beneficial for you in order to write uh, introduction part and review part in your thesis or in your project report. So this is going to definitely going to be beneficial for you understanding how to write a review. Then another type of publication is correspondence. So you are presenting, there is presentation in terms of in limited words, that is approximately 600 words. So these are the letters that are of general interest to the scientists, scientific community, and technical comments. It includes the articles or communications published in journal within previous 6 months. So if you want to comment on any particular research area, so you can uh, write correspondence to the particular journal. Then another one is scientific correspondence. So there is a difference between the earlier one and this. This is approximately of having 1500 words. It may be, so it is having a description of a particular topic. So these serve to rapidly communicate important new findings. So for example, there are several researchers who are working on a single topic. So as I mentioned, I was working on lactic acid bacteria. So it is not that I was the only one in India or in this world who was working on lactic acid bacteria. There were several researchers. There are several researchers who are working on lactic acid bacteria in world. So there is a scientific community and which are performing research on preparation of curd. But while performing that particular research on preparation of curd, if I get a significant result, this word is very important. So if I get outstanding result or significant result, and you want that the public or the scientific community should know immediately about this particular investigation or report. That means you want an immediate attention of the scientific community to this particular new finding. Then you don't have time for full length publication, because it is a very long process. Then if you want that the people should know and it should be attended by all the researchers throughout the world, then you can immediately send that information through scientific correspondence, which is of course published. So this is basically very important, reporting new findings immediately to the journal, or publishing these new findings immediately in the journals. This is very important because this is in relation to developing a patent. Patent means the right of using and manufacturing of that particular invention. It remains with you. So one of the criteria for patenting is novelty, and you should be the first one who is reporting that particular novel investigation. So in relation to that, if you want to file a patent in next few years, then the scientific correspondence plays a very important role. Then different types of publications are news and views. Approximately the word limit is 1000 words. News and views are basically that cover important scientific events or any other news of interest, which is basically related to different scientists in general. Then meeting reports, which is a description of approximately 1500 words, that particular deals with the highlights technical contents of a particular conference or symposium or a discussion meeting. So if anything significant discussion has happened in that particular conference, symposium, or the meeting, so that can be very easily conveyed to journals and it can be published, so that the other people should know about this particular discussion through meeting reports. Then the next one is research news. So having approximate limit of 2000 words and 3 display items. That means you can put some figures as well. So the purpose of this is to inform non-specialists about recently published advances or important findings. So there are several ways of immediate communication, and research news is one of them. Then there is an opinion article having word limit of 1200. So if you want to comment, if you want to argue, or if you are not convinced with the results of someone else publication, so you can present your views on issues related to science and scientific activity very easily by sending opinion articles to journals, which are then published. Next one is commentary, approximately having a word limit of 2000 words. These articles are expected to be short, expository essays on issues related to science and scientific activity. Sorry. Then there is a publication called as book review. So of course, reviews should be written by someone who is expert in that particular field. So book reviews should be written by the similar personalities. They can write book reviews in limited words of approximately 500 words, so which is a brief description of the contents of that particular book. So you may recommend the readers to read that book, or you may write something opposite to that. All these articles, now specifically let us talk about full length papers, short communication, and research notes. All these material that you write, we call them as a manuscript, and that manuscript undergoes a process which is called as a peer review process. The word peer means critical, or something which is examined critically, keenly, with concentration, with proper attention. And review means a keen observation or careful observation, or very careful evaluation. So this is called as a peer review process. That means this means that when you write a manuscript or research paper, that will undergo this peer review process. So it will be very critically reviewed or examined or evaluated, and accordingly there are reviewers, or we call them as the referees, which are the subject experts. So if you when you submit your manuscript to a particular journal, so that journal editor will assign few subject experts or the reviewers. So your manuscript will go to certain reviewers for the evaluation. Then these reviewers will read your let me tell you this, that critical review process involves a team of four referees or four reviewers. So first one is editor in chief itself, himself. Second, third, and fourth, these are the three reviewers or the subject experts which are gonna examine or evaluate your manuscript. They will read your manuscript very carefully, and they will make their comments. So these comments will be sent to you. These comments will be examined by editor in chief as well. And if you are ready to work on those comments, so these comments may be positive, these comments may be negative, these comments may suggest that the work is not sufficient, you need to work more on that. So all such comments you will receive through these reviewers, and accordingly editor in chief will make the final decision concerning whether to accept your manuscript or reject your manuscript, considering the potential of the manuscript or the research paper. There is a process flow chart which I have prepared in order to prepare and submit your research paper. So this is just an initial preparation. So the first part is your project work, in which you are investigating, you are working on some particular problem, you are surveying, you are collecting the data, you are collect then next one is compilation of data. You are arranging that particular data in a proper manner. Then the third step is preparation of tables, figures, graphs, and photographs, which is very important. I'll be telling you regarding the importance of tables, figures, graphs, and images in next few slides. Next step is selection of the journal. This is again a very important component in publication, key factor in publication. After selection of journal, we need to understand the guidelines of that particular journal, and accordingly we prepare first draft. So this is how we are going to prepare. You can prepare the first draft of your manuscript. We call it as manuscript. Then uh, it is not that the manuscript is finalized, then you and your research guide are going for several discussions. There are going to be several rounds of discussions, and then you go for the second draft. So there are going to be several revisions, so that you will come up with the second draft. Then there will be a number of revisions, number of round of discussions, as I say. So there is a no limit unless and until your guide and you are satisfied. The discussions may go on, and finally you prepare a final draft which is ready for the submission process.